Hey y'all, it's Liz, your official craft nerd. Let's just jump right into this video today. So I'm going to be like 100% honest with you guys. I have been in a creative rut, and I may have said this before, I don't know, but I have really been struggling probably the past month or so to really kind of get those new ideas out there or get some really awesome content out there for you guys. And so I just want to apologize to all of my friends and my nerdy family out there. You guys, your girl has been lacking. And I say this because I know why it's been going on. Truthfully, I have been doing another passion of mine as well, and trying to get that started. And eventually there will be a channel for that as well. And, some new things going on with that. But my life has gotten extremely busy. So, and I know a lot of you guys can probably understand that. And so I appreciate you guys, at least for still coming around, sticking around. So again, I apologize. Hopefully you'll get some kind of inspiration from this video. I know it's going to be some pretty simple projects, pretty easy to do. Maybe not be the most unique or original, but hopefully you guys at least stick around because you enjoy coming and hanging out with me every week. And I know I was off last week, so I had to get something out there for you guys today. So anyway, enough of the blah, blah, blah. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. Basically, I had these block pieces of wood lying around probably a good year or so. And I knew I wanted to use them. I knew they would work perfect for the idea that was in my head. And if you hadn't figured it out, I'm going to make some kind of block wood decor pumpkin pieces. And I know everybody's kind of doing it right now. And that's cool. I mean, everybody's got their own style to it. And they're so easy to do. So this is, again, I was like, oh, I have no idea. What am I going to make? What am I going to do? So this was kind of my starting off piece. And once I got these done, everything else kind of came into, light of what I was going to make. And that kind of works with me. I do that a lot, where one project kind of sparks off another. So, I know my creative juices aren't completely gone, but they have been on hiatus for a minute. So, and I know you guys as creators and crafters, I know we all go through it. So, this, like I said, super easy, just taking some pieces of wood. You can use the blocks, the little blocks from Dollar Tree, like I did in my last video. Scrap wood, if you have scrap wood lying around, whatever. It is so simple to create a pumpkin. It just really is. In my case with this, I wanted it to be, again, similar to my style, to what I like to make, to create, and what I would put up in my own home. So I'm using those stencils, and look, y'all, I brought that pumpkin stencil back. I was so mad I couldn't really use it last time. Or no, I used it, but I screwed it up. Let's get it right, Liz. Let's get it right. So I brought it back, and you just saw, I just kind of took one little pumpkin here and there and just kind of went around the block. And on this one, I'm just doing basically the same thing, just taking this French script writing stencil, and going around the block as well. Now, I knew I could have used any other color besides the orange, but I thought, how often really am I going to use this pumpkin color, other than this time of year? I know I don't really use it any other time during the year. So I figured it's okay. I'm going to use it. It's not a bad color. And truthfully, if you don't like it, if it's too orange, play around with it. You can lighten it up with some white, you can darken it, you can do whatever. So, or you don't have to use it at all. Simple as that. Now here I am doing probably one of my favorite techniques, and I do it all the time, and I used to do it quite a bit because everything I was creating, it felt like, was plaster color and the antique wax. So I haven't done it in a while, and I really wanted to do that with these particular pieces just because I love that effect that this stain gives the corners and the texture of the wood blocks. Now, these sides of these, like where the pumpkins and everything are, is pretty smooth. The other ends are kind of rough. But I feel like any kind of wood that you use, just depending, if it has a lot of grain in it and all of that, this wax just really seems to pull that out. And it looks so amazing. And yeah, this is probably one of my favorite techniques. And it definitely gives it that, you know, old look, the used and worn and antique, rustic, vintage. I can throw all those words out there. You guys already know. Unless you're new here, welcome if you are. But in this nerdy lifestyle, I'm all about the old, the busted, the rusted, you know, the antique, the vintage, I don't know, the ugly to give it new life, make it beautiful again type stuff. I mean, that's me. That's what I'm all about, and that's what my house is about. I'm obsessed. So anyway, moving on. So after I've used any kind of stenciling on wood projects, I always hit it with my sanding block. And the reason for it for myself is it blends in that paint. It doesn't look so freshly painted and new. And because that's not what I'm looking for. I love how this just instantly gives it an older look just by sanding it down a little bit. Plus, it also helps if there was any areas that had maybe a little too much of something, you know what I mean? So being that these are going to be pumpkins, I was like, okay, I got to create a stem. Now, there's many ways you can make stems, many different things. I kind of just like looked over at my crafting station and I saw this packet of, you know, what is this? The rope from Dollar Tree. And I thought, well, I haven't really used any of the rope lately. And, you know, Lord only knows I've gone and stocked up on this stuff and I have a bunch of it, you know, because every time I go to Dollar Tree, it's like, oh, I need to get more rope. Y'all, I haven't been using any of that rope. It's just taking up room. So I said, okay, we're going to use it. We're going to somehow create a funky stem for this pumpkin. Now, my first instinct was I'm just going to wrap this around, and that's all I'm doing on this is just kind of, you know, twisting it around. And, you know, this rope is kind of thick. So I was like, okay, well, this pumpkin's going to have a nice fat stem. No biggie. And I just kind of twist it on up there to the top. And then I'm just going to trim it down and kind of let those little pieces kind of stick out. Like I wasn't worried about them, you know, being perfectly smooth or down, because I mean, if you guys really have looked at a pumpkin stem, they're not, you know, perfect. A lot of them are just weird and, you know, they got a little things coming off of them. So don't be afraid, you know, that it looks a little wonky, because in truth, they are wonky. So whatever, wonky. That's my word today, you guys, wonky. So the next stem, I am taking, if you can't tell, y'all, I'm laughing at myself. It is too early in the day and I just feel like I haven't had my coffee. Y'all know that feeling when you just didn't get your coffee yet? Oh my goodness. Or your tea, whatever your thing is. Anyway, I am taking that same rope, but this time I just deconstructed it because I think it's like 3 pieces in one. And I'm just taking one of the strands of the rope and doing the same technique, just kind of winding it up, because I thought the other stem is kind of thick and I wanted to make this one just a little bit thinner, which is still fantastic because not all pumpkin stems are created equal, y'all. So I did the same thing on this. Once that was done, once my stems were done, I said, okay, this is not going to be shabby chic anything until I start adding stuff to it. Which means I'm pulling out fabrics and ribbons and whatever. And in this case, I'm pulling out some more strips of my coffee stained fabric. I think this was just coffee stained linen. And I just created like a real quick little, not even a bow really. It's just, I threw some strips together and tied another strip around it. Nothing fancy, you guys, like at all. I wasn't trying to be fancy. I don't think my brain at the moment could come up with any fun alternative whatever ideas at that point in time. So like, nope, this works. It'll be okay. I trimmed it down just so it didn't look all too crazy like whiskers or something. And then I found this little burlap flower decal with like a button in it. I think it's something that I got from the paper section at Hobby Lobby. And it was just like one random one that I had left. So cool. I thought it looked great. It worked for that one. I kind of do this similar thing with the second pumpkin, only this time I was taking some of this linen fabric ribbon stuff that I got from burlap oh goodness, see, look at me messing it up. burlapfabric.com. I really like this ribbon, and I just made a little bow, kind of like a finger bow with this, and then I'm going to tie it up with some twine, and that's what I'm going to use for this particular pumpkin. It's just a simple little ribbon bow. And I do believe I go in and make just a really quick twine finger bow. Those I absolutely love to do. They're super easy to do. They're super cute, and they definitely help rough up or rustic up any kind of little project that you might be doing. So I make a little bow like that, and I'm just going to glue that, stick that right in the middle of my fabric bow. And that is it for these pumpkins, you guys. Let me know what you think down below. I know they're not anything brand new that you've never seen before, but hopefully you enjoy my take on them. And again, if you guys are new here, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really hope you hit that like button down there for me and subscribe so you see what I do next. Okay, y'all, this next project seriously is probably the easiest. I don't know. I say that a lot of times, but this is super simple. I found these frames at Dollar Tree. Hopefully you guys have been seeing a lot more variety in your Dollar Trees. And hopefully you've seen these frames. When they first came out, I was excited because I love the little decal on the front. I love the little nameplate, and I didn't want to take that off. I mean, you can, they're just screwed in there, but I was like, no, I want to leave that in there. And I'm just basically removing the glass out of these. I'm going to take the backs off, and I still really love this wood, and it's not like plastic, it's actually wood. And I thought, perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stain these with that antique wax. So basically I'm just going to coat a bunch of it on there and then wipe it off, and it gives it such a perfect dark color. It was exactly what I was wanting for this, and I'm going to do that for both of these frames. So once those are done, I decided I'm going to use these awesome little wood die cut pieces that I found from Dollar Tree. I don't normally get lucky, you guys. I mean, and find a lot of these cool things. Somehow I stumbled upon these at one store. I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna grab them. And I was actually surprised because I thought they only said like hello fall and hello autumn, but there was, I think, quite a bit of different ones in there, and I think I show it in this video somewhere. But like, I think it says like hello fresh or not hello fresh, that's the food. What am I talking about? Oh, farm fresh. But there was some other things in there, not necessarily just fall related. But in any case, what I did with this was just stain these letters. They take on that wax so perfectly, and you can stain them basically any color that you want. But I loved keeping it with the same color as the frame. And I just put the backing back on this frame. Now, what was cool about this one was the backing was black. It was like already there. Didn't have to do anything to it. So I just put it back in and glued my letters right down on the top of that. Now, I wanted to obviously to sit horizontal. Now, initially I thought, oh, I'm just going to have to glue these little cubes on the back and kind of make my own stand. But then I was like, no, why go through all that hassle? I'm just going to rip off the arm thing anyway and just kind of finagle it around to make it stand up the way that I want to. So as you saw there, I just kind of took it off. I'm just going to put some hot glue up at the top and kind of wedge that in there. It fit perfect and it works great for this whole purpose of this video. Now, this is a project that I can tell you, you definitely will be able to change it around, you know, like, because we all know hot glue is not permanent. So I can easily, you know, remove that backing again later and definitely put something new in there and change up the words, whatever. That's the great thing about crafting. And I don't know about you guys, but I like to Frankenstein things a lot. So, and what I mean by that is I take old projects that I've, you know, done before and maybe kind of bust them down, you know, take pieces from them or just completely redo it and create it into something new. So don't ever be afraid to do that either, because that's the fun about being, you know, a creator. You can do whatever you want. So I'm doing the same thing with the second frame. Now with the second frame, the backing was not black. It was kind of like just this light wood color. And I did go ahead and take some of that wax and just try to just tone it up a little bit so it's not so stark white, because I wanted it to have somewhat of a variance between the colors of the wood and the lettering. And if you didn't notice through all my talking, you saw how fragile the letters can be. Like, I busted it and I had to go back and glue it. And all I was doing was wiping off the wax. So you have to be a little bit gentle with them, but it's okay. So when I got my backing on, I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I'm going to put this in there. Yeah, it didn't fit horizontal like I thought it was. I don't know why. It just didn't work. So I had to kind of shift it. And actually I like it better this way. I was like, oh no, it gives it more character. It's cool like that. I'm good. So I did the same thing with the back. I have pulled it off and I'm just going to prop it up in there, glue it down, easy peasy. Now I've got my standing signs and they look fantastic. However, you guys, you know that it's not going to be done until I add more stuff. So because I left the little nameplates on there, I was looking at it, how it's sitting now. Horizontal kind of looked a little weird. So I'm like, but I don't want to take it off. I don't want any holes or anything like that. So I'm like, no, we'll just cover it up. So what's the easiest thing to do? Make a finger bow, okay? And I blame Sammy at Unicorn Dust Designs, and I will always drop her name when I talk about finger bows. She was the one that basically taught me how to make a finger bow, you know, months and months and months ago, a long time ago now, it feels. And I am obsessed with them now because they're so stinking easy to do. And I'm not a bow perfectionist. You know, there are crafters out there that can whip up like a 3-foot bow blindfolded behind their, you know, hands behind their back. And I mean, I'm telling you, there's some crazy bow makers out there. I'm not one of them. I would just rather throw some stuff together, tie a knot around it and be done. But the finger bow thing, super easy. And I tend to do it a lot, especially with twine, because it's just so easy, so quick. And it's just that extra little decal that is super cute. It looks great, especially with anything shabby chic. So I found some ribbon, of course. You know, I've got like a random stash of all kinds of things like this. And I was like, okay, cool. We're just going to make some like little flappy things from the bow, whatever they're called, the legs. And I'm just going to, you know, make them the same. Both of the frames are going to be the same because I do like to have some, you know, cohesiveness every now and then. And I'm just basically going to glue all this stuff together so we can add it to our signs. So real easy, just going to fold the ribbon over, glue it down, add the bow, and we're going to pop it on. Now I do the same thing for the second one, and that is all there is to these frame sign decor pieces. Definitely let me know what you think of these. Super easy, super fun. I love them. Okay guys, this is the last project, and this has got to be the easiest. And I say that, I tell you, I know I do. I say it a lot. But this one I was like, oh man, I gotta have a third project. There's something with me. I could have stopped the video with just two, but quite honestly, I'm like, no, I'm more of it. Three's my number. I like the number three. So I had to put this in there. I bought these foxes. Now, I thought they're super cute by themselves. I found them at Dollar Tree. I was like, oh, these guys are really adorable. But I don't really have any like fox decor, anything out there. And even though they're cute, I was like, that color, it's not working. Don't get me wrong, because I love orange and I love like burnt oranges and stuff like that. But I don't know. I said, nope, we're going to give these guys a makeover. So in, shabby chic fashion, I'm going to paint it white. Now I'm painting it the plaster color, not white. And I thought this would be an easy project. Y'all, why is it always the easiest project that I think is going to be easy ends up being the one that gives me the most trouble? I mean, you saw how that paint was running. I was so irritated. I couldn't figure it out. Why is my paint so watery? Why is it doing that? Well, because I had cleaned that brush, and apparently the water had gotten up into the handle, and it kept like dripping into the paint as I was painting, and I wasn't realizing it. So it's mixing up my paint with water, and it just was dripping everywhere. Oh my gosh, y'all. I was over it. So you saw me switch over to that little tiny brush. And okay, anyway, once that paint was dry, I paint both of them white. Okay. I took some of the antique wax. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going to kind of make sure I'm hitting all those little corners and edges and stuff like that, and then wiping it down. And basically it's just going to, just give it a different tone, make it not so stark white, but, and it's not really stark white, it's plaster. It's a very muted white, which is why I love it. But you could paint these things, any color that you would want. That's kind of why I did this project, because I was like, really all it is just giving, just this little knick-knack, a paint job. And you can do whatever you want with whatever your style is and whatever color, and it'll definitely fit in better. So now you can have a cute little fox that you may not have used before, because you're like, why would I put that orange fox up in my house? Hey, this works for me. That's why I did it. So I usually like to end my videos on a really super simple project. So I felt like this was it. Once my foxes were both painted up, dirtied up, whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to add a little bit of detail, not decal. Y'all, my words. If y'all are still here with me, I love you guys. I really do, because it has been a struggle today to get this done. I took twine, just wrapped it a few times around the neck of my fox, give it kind of like a little collar. And then I'm going to create, yes, you guessed it, another finger bow. And oh my gosh, I love it. And I'm just going to put this little bow on the collar on the corner of my fox. And I love the little detail that it gives. I think it's super adorable. And when I got it on there, I looked and I said, oh, my other fox now looks a little lonely and sad with nothing on it. So, I had to stick something on there too. So you'll see me go ahead and put some ribbon around my fox, the second fox. So it's like I said, you guys, of course you can get creative, do whatever you want if this is something you chose to recreate or do yourself. but it's nothing hard here. I mean, really, we're just slapping some paint on here, putting some ribbon, simple, and it made these guys come out super, super cute. And I love them a whole lot more now than I did when I first bought them. So yeah, that's it. What do you think of these guys? So thank you all again, my nerdy family, for coming back, for watching this, for laughing with me, for, I don't know. I appreciate you guys so, so much. And for all of my new friends that have stopped by and hung out with me here today, I definitely appreciate you. And I hope I didn't scare you off. I hope you come back. Definitely will have some new things out there here coming up real soon. Definitely more Halloween vibes. And hopefully I'm going to have a nice personal video that I can share with you guys and really kind of let you know what's been going on with me and some of the new projects and things that I am really invested in outside of this. So I definitely look forward to sharing with you guys. Until next time, y'all, stay safe out there, and you know I love you.